Sundays and legal holidays, that it will be followed.
Yes. Basta kung ano yung nakalagay sa kontrata ninyo, no? Including the exceptions. Let's say, nakalagay sa contract ninyo, if the delivery date or the compliance period falls on a Sunday or a legal holiday, then the next business day will be the date of compliance. Nakalagay dun sa kontrata. Well and good. Maayos yung kontrata nyo kasi it considers everything. Pag wala naman, well, you have to comply.
By default po yung compliance, by default.
Yes.
Okay.
Oo, hindi lang default, no? It's an actual, that can be considered a breach already. That's a default actually kasi hindi ka na nag-ano. Yes, Mr. Tangan. Sorry. He just looked. Patrick pala, you're the one asking. Yes, sir.
Good afternoon, Attorney. Can you hear me clearly po?
Yes, I can. Okay.
Attorney, I know this is way too early to ask, but what if there will be like what we call fortuitous event when it comes to legal holidays or Sundays? The next following day, which is the last day, it fell into a fortuitous event po.
Okay. Actually, that is already covered by obligations and contracts, no? But then, sabihin ko na rin sa'yo, since you asked, no? Class, okay, fortuitous events are actually exceptions to the rule. They are legitimate excuses for non-compliance of one's obligations. Fortuitous events are events that cannot be foreseen, or although foreseen, are inevitable or cannot be avoided. Okay? Yun ang description ng fortuitous event. Now, if a fortuitous event indeed does happen, well, it's an exception to the rule for non-compliance without the consequent penalties or liabilities. We will be taking that up by next semester. Okay? So, masaya. Okay, sige. Okay, class. So, take note of the computation of periods, ha? In starting and counting the period, the day, no? So, if you're given 10 days to comply, and you receive the notice today, Wednesday, the rule is, the first day will be tomorrow. That will be the day 1. Thursday will be day 1. And then day 2, and so on and so forth. And the last day is included. So that is the 10th day. You do not count the day when you receive the notice. Hindi pa counted yun. The start of the counting will be the day following receipt. Tandaan nyo very much yan, class, marami nakakamali dyan, lalo na pag re-receive ng mga court orders, mga court instructions or compliances. Dapat at least alam nyo kung paano bumilang. Alam nyo, tama yung kanta na what a difference a day makes. It's an old song. Hindi pa ako pinapanganak nun. Pero pag nadidinig nyo, what a difference a day makes. Totoo, lalo na sa lawyers. No? What a difference a day makes. It could spell the difference between losing or winning. Okay? Or throwing your client in jail or not. Okay? So, exclude the first day, that is the day of receipt, and include the last day. That's computation of the last day. Any question so far? Okay ba? Okay. Now we go to the string of exhibits. String of articles which should be very basic knowledge dapat sa inyo lahat. Okay? It should be very basic knowledge to all of you. Okay. Before I forget, judicial review of administrative decisions. It's a principle that is very important. I'm sorry, nauna ako masyado. Judicial review of administrative decisions. There are agencies, government agencies, that perform quasi-judicial functions. Ano sabihin ng quasi-judicial functions? Anybody? Ano ang quasi-judicial functions? Jennifer, yes. Miss Vista.
Sir, ito po yung process which is like in the court but there is no judge.
Tama yung una. Pero walang judge. Medyo you have to, to modify that. Because,
there is currently a hearing but it is not in court.
Okay. That's in essence correct, no? Thank you, Ms. Jennifer. Class, quasi-judicial functions of administrative bodies simply means these administrative bodies perform judicial functions almost or similar to judicial functions. Sa quasi, maganda yan sa Tagalog, sa Bisaya eh. No? Yung quasi, the word quasi, kuno. Sa equivalent na sa Bisaya, kuno. O sa Tagalog, mukha. Mukhang judicial. Pero hindi. Okay? Sa English, ang pwede as if judicial ang ginagawa. So, parang sa Tagalog, parang judicial ang ginagawa nila, and they do indeed have judges or arbiters, but not necessarily in the sense na a court judge. Okay? So, anybody can give me a government agency or instrumentality performing quasi-judicial functions. Patrick, yes sir.
Civil Service Commission, attorney.
Okay, Civil Service Commission. So, they perform quasi-judicial functions. Adrian Valenzuela, yes sir.
Attorney Tariff Commission.
Tariff Commission. Incidentally, class, the Tariff Commission was my first job when I was still a student in School of Law. So, memorable sa akin yan kasi yung una kong government job at the time. Yung unang job ko, hindi pa ako abogado noon at the time. Yes. The Tariff Commission, which is a branch of the Customs Agency, performs quasi-judicial functions. In fact, parang may courtroom pa nga kami doon sa loob.
Yes.
Okay. Miss Rosa, yes ma'am.
Yes, sir. Our office also, sir, performs quasi-judicial functions, sir. We have
Which
the
office is that?
Intellectual Property Office of the
Exactly. Yan, intellectual property. Oh.
Philippines. We administer the Intellectual Property Code of the Philippines, sir, RA 8293, which is a special law.
Special law, yes.
Yes, sir. So we have the Bureau of Legal Affairs who they conduct hearings po. We have hearing officers for intellectual property rights violations.
Ganon, exactly. No? Ganon din sa Tariff Commission. I was a hearing officer then, no, at that time. Exactly, meron kaming hearing, meron kaming schedule, meron kaming notices. Exactly. No? Another office, DTI, Department of Trade and Industry, it performs quasi-judicial functions. Pagka may mga reklamo regarding mga products, promotions, mga ganyan-ganyan. In fact, I actually attended and conducted a hearing there. Meron ako ni-represent na kliyente in DTI. Mas maganda pa nga ang korte nila kaysa sa ordinary courts eh.
Sa consumer protection siguro, sir, no?
Yes ma'am. Sa consumer protection, yung mga, yung truth and advertising, mga ganyan-ganyan. Okay? Another office, yung BIR. Oh my God, meron silang court. LTFRB, they also have their own quasi-judicial functions. COMELEC, although it's a constitutional office, no? Pero yes, they perform talaga.
Immigration po, sir.
Immigration, LTO. Yan, meron silang mga ganyang mga offices. Now, the basic principle here, class, is the findings of those agencies or instrumentalities, they possess great weight because they are considered to be experts in that particular field. I repeat, their findings of facts of these quasi-judicial bodies, katulad nung sa intellectual property, sa TARIF, LTO, COMELEC, their findings of facts are given much weight. And this is the principle, they should not be subjected to judicial review by the courts as a general rule. They should not be subject to judicial inquiry. Bakit? Kasi yung mga ahensya na ito in their particular fields are considered experts. Eksperto sila dyan sa pinag-uusapan nila. Mukha na sa intellectual property. O lahat ng mga batas, expertise na nila when it comes in sa intellectual property o sa tariff commission. Yung mga tariff rates, mga ganyan, customs duties, expert sila dyan. LTO, sa mga driver violations, so on and so forth. So, in short, yung findings nila hindi dapat i-assail ng court or by a judge who may not be even capable or may not be an expert in that particular field. That's the general rule. Exception to the rule, ito. Pwede mong dalhin yan sa korte, yung mga findings nila, no? When such administrative office failed to perform or to accord the parties due process of law, which is constitutional. Katulad noon, halimbawa, nasa LTFRB or nasa intellectual property, hindi pinakinggan yung opponent. If opponent po ba, Ms. Rosa, tawag doon? Or oppositor? Oppositor yata, eh, no? What do you call the parties?
Hindi ko po so patents po.
Okay. Sa tariff commission, yung naghahain ng petition is called the petitioner. Yung kumukontra doon sa petitioner are called the opponents. Okay? Hindi defendant, hindi respondent. Okay? The opponent. Okay? So, hindi mo binigyan ng due process. The person who has been deprived of due process can bring the matter directly to the court. Pwede mo nang dalhin doon yan. Or, ito pa, these are just general, kasi kukunin nyo yan sa administrative law as well as in remedial law. Let's say, in a particular administrative office, nag-render ng decision, but this decision is beyond the jurisdiction of such office. Wala silang jurisdiction to render a judgment of such kind. Sabihin, wala sa mandato nila yan. Katulad nun, LTO, nagbigay ng decision regarding sa mga eroplano o mga barko, hindi na land transportation yun, right? It belongs to a different agency. Pero nag-render ng decision. So that is beyond the jurisdiction of the LTO. Sino man ang maapektuhan doon can bring the matter to the court. Or, in excess of jurisdiction or lack of jurisdiction, yan, pwedeng maging review ng courts. Okay? That is a very basic principle, class, administrative judicial review of administrative decisions. Yan ang principle dyan. Okay? So, any questions pa po?
Ay, sir, may question
Yes,
po ako. Sir,
Ako.
bakit yung mga cases po, pagka sa court, So when they go to court, it's Court of Appeals kaagad po. And Supreme Court.
Coming from
From an administrative body po. From
Okay.
a quasi-judicial
Okay.
body.
kasi it's possible that in their charter ng opisina, no? Any questions regarding ganito, sineset out na kagad kung saan dadalhin. So nakalagay sa charter nila, in case of questions in judicial matters, ganyan, or in case of judicial review is being sought, the proponent or the petitioner can bring the matter directly, let's say, to the Court of Appeals or to the Supreme Court. Merong ganun. Sineset out na. Kaya class, if you will be acting as lawyer in administrative cases, it would be very wise to study the rules and procedure as well as the charter of the agency. Checkin nyo muna kung ano ang ino-observe nilang rules and regulations. Yung kanilang remedial law. Bawat opisina ay mayroong particular laws on quasi-judicial practice. Baka hindi mo na kailangan dalhin yan sa RTC, sa Regional Trial. You can go directly to the CA, mga ganon. Anyway, that is part of your plan in handling cases before administrative bodies. Okay? So, naka-experience ako dyan, marami. Yan sa DTI. Maski dyan sa, yung mga HLURB, yung Home Regulatory Board. Meron din sila dyan. Nagkukonduct din sila ng quasi-judicial functions. Okay? Yung kanilang findings of facts will only be reviewed if there is, let's say, violation of due process, there was fraud, there was mistake, yung nagdayaan doon sa loob, may collusion, may lokohan, ayun, pwede mo dalhin sa korte. At pwede mo questionin yung decision. In the absence of any irregularities, the findings of facts of administrative bodies are considered valid and should not be disturbed by the court. Yan lang ang ibig sabihin. Keep that in mind. Okay? So, can we proceed?